All right, I think we're going. Welcome back to another one of these things where we just kind of talk about whatever. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Um, Mine over here's been going fairly okay. Heather has decided to hide the candy that we got over the weekend so that I don't eat it all, which is probably good for both of us. She gets some candy and I don't lose control and just have way too much, because that's definitely a danger. It's definitely something that can happen. Unfortunately, now I'm not sure where all of the open bags of candy are, so I think I might just have to place orders with her whenever I am desiring a piece of candy. And then I'll have to go hide in another room for a little bit while she goes and finds the candy order. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Maybe I'll have updates later in the week for how that's going. But yeah, today, Tuesday. One of the things that just kind of crossed my mind that I thought was kind of funny is so I do. I talked about the website that I work with, Prismatic Planet, or that I write for and just sort of do everything for. And one of those things is that every Tuesday I write a poem, a haiku, for Haikus Day. And along with that, I post a photo just that the poem is about, just to give me kind of an idea of what I want to do. Like, the kind of thing with a haiku is you don't really want to use words in other ways to define the context of this thing, that the words themselves should invoke a certain context in the person who's reading it. So that's often why haikus don't have titles either. The words stand alone and the context is defined by the person who's reading. Their own experience helps fill in the gaps of what's actually trying to be described. And what I do to kind of give myself a little bit of a push when it comes to kind of identifying a context that I want to write about, I just go through photos that I've taken around here or just in travels, vacations, just around the world, and use that as a bit of context there. And it helps a bit. And it helps with, driving interest and engagement in posts on social media. People love it when there's pictures that they can look at and be like, wow, that's really cool. I'll go take a look at it. And all that's there is words. So it's probably one of the weakest engagement tools that I have, because it's not a lot of content that you're going there for. It's oh, I saw the picture preview already. I get to go there, see a bigger picture, and 3 lines of text. Cool. But it does help a little bit with, driving people to actually look at it and engage with it and talk about it. And providing a little bit of context isn't too bad. The poems still don't have titles or anything, so what I'm describing in the picture can still be very much up to the person who's viewing it, both the words and the photo. That's not really what I'm getting into here. The whole concept of a haiku is interesting. It's difficult. It's honestly more difficult to come up with than I'd think. I'm also playing through Borderlands 3 right now, and Zero makes an appearance in the game, and he completely talks in haiku. So all of his sentences fit into that 575 syllable structure for all of his sentences, which isn't necessarily that structure that definitely functionally serves as a haiku or structurally serves as a haiku, but you're not describing something. It has, generally when you're writing that, you're trying to invoke some feeling of nature or describe something that you're seeing, not just what you're about to do, which is what Zero does. But being able to invoke that sort of naturalness, whatever naturalness means, to the writer is a part of that. So it can be a little bit weird. You're fitting into a very small structure. I said 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables, and arbitrarily taking that from a historically Japanese writing form, and then just taking that and being like, and now it applies to English syllables, is a bit strange. It's weird to write within those confines, but it does give me a set of criteria to meet as I'm going through it. So I have a picture that helps me with context, and then I have a structure that helps me with framework. And it's just see what's there, think of what I want to describe, and then it becomes a puzzle of just how do I describe this in sets of 5, 7, 5 syllables and still follow the general flow of how a haiku feels. It's never 3 distinct lines. It's usually line defining something, line emphasizing that thing, line that either really drives it home or is a strong contradiction to the previous statements. You usually have like examples of onomatopoeia in there, and I don't do that very much. Like I don't put like word sounds into my haikus very often, but that's usually where you'd have that. So you'd get like a crack or a bang or a whiz up kind of sound or something that's describing what it is that's in the context that you're describing. I forget where I was really going with that. I didn't want to talk about haikus for like 10 minutes, but I'm kind of doing that, aren't I? Now you know a little bit about how to go about that if it's something interesting to you. Oftentimes I find myself wanting to do... me just as a writer likes to use very fluffy words and use more words than necessary to drive home how emotional or like sentimental something can be, that it's actually a really good exercise for me in conciseness to just have a framework that I have to fit to describe something in that's still impactful, but with a lot less real estate from a word standpoint. So that's pretty good. I think it's helped a bit. That's definitely helped a bit from just a how I speak perspective, or like how I write emails or responses to people, even at work and things like that. I am a lot less verbose than I used to be, per se. Not all the time, but constantly every week having to exercise my brain to describe a scene in very few words or syllables is honestly a decent exercise for anybody looking to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional about what you're saying. Like you can't spend times with the uhs and the flavor text and all the fluff in what you're saying. But at the same time, like there's certain cases where having that fluff has impact too. You're adding intention by infusing a certain amount of emotion into it without it being completely tied to this ball of something that you're trying to describe. But I digress. Like there are definitely times where it's just like, gosh, I wish I could write a poem, or wish I'd like open myself up to write a poem that isn't locked to this framework. And maybe I will at some point. Like for Prismatic Planet, I'm kind of running, I don't say running out. There's plenty of topics to talk about, but at the same time, I don't want like all the learn pages for environmental education to be about like super duper nuanced topics. They're just like core topics, like types of biomes, types of cycles, core ecological concepts. And like another section that's just like things that interested me while I was researching something else called Eco Extras. The rest of it, the nuances for the blog posts. So I'll probably be opening up this year to have more time to write or express myself in some other ways than I currently do, since that's one less thing I'd have to write every month for environmental education pages. I could just maybe do a video, or again, different types of artistic expression from a poetic standpoint. I have been very much enjoying that kind of stuff. Gosh, it's been like 10 minutes. I feel like I'm going to go like into this thing. Anyway, just to talk about what I wanted to talk about. So along with these things, I have pictures way back, like 8 minutes ago when I said that I took pictures to go along with these haikus, that was the point. I upload these pictures to a platform called Flickr. I just really like their terms of service better than I liked Instagram's. So that was basically the reason that I decided to put stuff there as my photo repository. Also seemed like a slightly more like a professional photographers go here. So whatever. The terms of service were really the main reason why I went with that. But they have this concept of groups, and you can like put your photos in these groups, post them to these groups so other people can see them and you get more people taking a look at it. It's not the most efficient like photo social media type thing, but it works okay. But like one of the things that happened, I realized today, is that I'm pretty sure I got banned from two of the groups that I was in. It didn't say that. I think I could still join, but they definitely removed my last picture that I took, and they just removed everything that I had in that group off of it. Went back and saw that they have little sections in there for off-topic photos, and it's just anything man-made, which is kind of against what I do for Prismatic Planet. It's like the intersection of humanity and nature, because humanity is nature. So it was kind of one of those silly things that I was like, I don't know how I get away from that with everything that I post. This is funny that it took me over a year to post something that actually tripped that up. I think it was a road. I think it was just a road. Like it was a completely empty road, but it was a paved road that cars could theoretically be on, with a tree off to the side, and I thought it looked quite quaint. And it looked very nice against the mountainscape in the background. I was like, oh, it's nice. I'll take a picture of that. It had a nice little poem to go along with it. Nope. Not nature. Not nature. There's a road through it. There's a road through that nature. Therefore, not nature. I'm not sure if Heather's sighing at me, or if she's just sighing at a game or something. She already heard me complain about this. Anyway, to each their own. Moderators for those groups can do however they want there. But in my research for some of the stuff from my site, it's one of those things that's like a part of understanding nature is understanding that humans are very much a part of it. We're not something special. I mean, we're special, but we're not a part of this ecosystem. And everything we do, as much as we think it is control, it is only influence. And those things have repercussions, ones that we can't control. That's the essence of climate change. So when we do things that impact the systems in this place we live, our natural habitat it gets broken. And it's not because where we built stuff means that it's not nature. It means that we changed it. The abstraction we have around it is our new nature. So it's kind of silly to me when it's just like, there's a road. There's a road in there. Ain't no cars, ain't no people. But that's not nature. That tree next to that road, definitely less natural than a tree not next to a road. I guess I'm weirdly bitter about it. But I'll get over it at some point. Maybe in like a day. We'll see. Hopefully in like a day. It'll be fine. No worries there. Anyway, so you get a little bit of two things there. I want to just try and start making these things like around 10 minutes, and I totally broke that by not talking about the thing I want to talk about instead of talking about haikus. So I'll have to think about what to call this now. But yeah, you get a little bit of a philosophical thought on humans and nature, and a little bit of stupid mirrored thing. I'm like, that's not the hand that's moving. How's it doing that? Broke my brain. And how haikus are structured, what they're conceptually meant to do, and you can go ahead and write them yourself now. This has been a highly informative and educational just chatting video, brought to you by some guy who's bitter about his picture of a tree that had a road in it. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. We'll try again to keep these things in around 10 minutes in the next one. Yeah, yeah, have a great Tuesday, a Wednesday. Won't be here tomorrow. Be here again on Thursday. So yeah, keep having a great day, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.